son. He is the director of the Explore Lincoln City program, or the VCB, doing business as Explore Lincoln City.
Yep.
And he's also president of the Kiwanis here for Lincoln City. And we're real excited to talk about the upcoming Pixie Fest.
Pixie Fest is going to be fun.
It's going to be really fun. It's been fun.
Yeah.
It's going to be even more fun. So, first of all, Ed, tell us a little bit about Pixie Fest and how you got that started.
Okay, the way Pixie Fest got started, I was relatively new in town. I just joined the Kiwanis Club. They were talking about coming up with a new fundraiser, and somebody got the idea, why don't we do a little kids fair? And I'm like, great, you know. And in the meantime, every time we did focus groups, every time we did research, every time I talked to Kip Ward, I kept coming across Pixie Kitchen and Pixie Land. And I go to the museum and there's the Pixie Kitchen section, you know. And it's like this big deal. And anytime you bring it up to anyone who came here as a child in 1985 or earlier, it's like the biggest thing in their childhood. And it's like, wow, it'd be kind of cool if we could name it, you know, Pixie something. Well, one of the people in the club did a search and found out that the trademark for Pixie Kitchen and the trademark for Pixie Land had been abandoned.
Oh.
They were just out there up for grabs. So the Kiwanis Club printed 3 t-shirts. One said Pixie Kitchen, one said Pixie Land, and one said Pixie Fest. We sold them in a meeting for $5 a piece, and that was commercial activity around the trademark names. An attorney in the club put in an application, and very long story short, the Kiwanis Club of Lincoln City owns Pixie Kitchen and Pixie Land. Thank you.
Wonderful. And now, once a year, you put on Pixie Fest. Yeah. And I just have to say, I have very fond memories. I was very little, but I remember coming over on Highway 18 and coming to the beach, and we would get so excited, and we would see, you know, Pixie Land there, and then we would come into Lincoln City, and we would go and eat at Pixie Kitchen, and there, it was neat because back then in the mid to late 60s, early 70s, there wasn't a lot of things that really catered to kids. So this was something that was unique for its time, right?
Yeah. And it, the more you dig into it, the more interesting the history is. The guy that owned Pixie Kitchen and then later Pixie Land was Jerry Parks. Jerry ended up being the mayor of Wacomo. In 1965, when they combined all the cities to form Lincoln City. And there was a lot of talk on what the name of the city should be, and he was the one that really pressed hard for Lincoln City, because if we called it that, he knew where they could get a free statue of Lincoln.
Now, is that the statue?
That's the statue
that's by the community center?
Community center, yeah, that bronze statue of Lincoln. That was a freebie, and you know, all we had to do was name the town that way, and boom. And that was
awesome.
So the name of the town is intertwined with Pixie Kitchen. He was best friends with George Bruns. Okay, George Bruns was the music director for Disney. George wrote The Ballad of Davy Crockett. He wrote all the music for the Mickey Mouse Club. He wrote the soundtracks for the Pirates of the Caribbean ride. He did all the music for Disney.
Wow.
Through him, Jerry Parks knew Walt Disney. And Walt built this Disneyland thing, and Jerry's like, why not? He builds one too.
That's amazing.
And if we can, if anybody out there can help us find this, I mean, I would give anything for it. George Bruns wrote a song for Pixie Land.
Oh.
Okay, I don't know. I mean, I never went there. I was living on the East Coast, not here. But
you missed out, my friend.
But did you ever go through the Grunican Land ride? You sat in the cars with the bears that had the arms that would go around you. The song in Grunican Land was written and produced and recorded by George Bruns.
Wow.
And I would kill to have a copy of it.
There's got to be some way to find.
We've
this.
heard rumors. Oh, I know somebody with who has a copy of that, and we've looked high and low. No luck yet. So if anybody out there knows of anybody that's got an old record, reel-to-reel tape, whatever, sitting in the attic or basement, we want it really, really bad.
That would be amazing. And you already have a great collection of these things that were at Pixieland and Pixie Fest. How did you come across those?
When we started working on it, Donna Riani, who runs our culinary center here, she should have been a detective. I mean, she's a great chef, don't get me wrong, but she should have been a detective. And she started doing searches on the web and whatnot and tracked down a guy who wrote a book called Pixies in the Valley that's all about Pixieland. And anyway, she got in touch with him. He gave us a couple of copies of the book. They got to talking, and he had heard rumor that Jerry Parks' daughter had this huge collection of Pixie stuff, and we couldn't find her. And Donna, I don't know how, she came up with an address, couldn't find a phone number, couldn't find an email, whatever. She writes this woman a letter. We hear back. She's living in Spokane.
Oh, close.
And, my wife and I end up driving to Spokane and spending time with her. And she allowed us to scan a whole bunch of the original artwork. And also, she let us, with her and her husband built Pixieland. And so we got all these great stories recorded, we got all this artwork scanned, and we used it to do things like this. This is the Pixie Kitchen Cookbook.
Oh, awesome.
Okay, and these are recipes that Donna got from Sharon, from former employees, from Pixie, who people used to work in Pixieland. But you go in here, and we have the recipes, but we also have stories by Sharon that relate to the recipe.
That's great.
And so we have this printed up. There'll be copies of that for sale at Pixie Fest. So there's that. The postcards they used to sell at Pixie Kitchen. We had some of the old original artwork cleaned up, and
I'll help you out.
okay, do that and reprint it. So we're going to have souvenir postcards at Pixie Fest, and we printed the old back, the famous Pixie Kitchen, heavenly food on the Central Oregon coast. But if you look very closely here, it's a souvenir of the Kiwanis Club of Lincoln City.
Perfect.
So we did that. This was the menu, which I'm sure you remember. And there was a guy by the name of Mo Martindale who had a company up in Portland that did illustration work. And him and his partner, I forget his first name, last name was Plato. They did all these wonderful characters, and they're all basically Disney quality illustration work.
They really are.
Wonderful, wonderful stuff. This little guy right here, the fish in the middle, that was cut and then it was scored where you see that little diamond shape there. So when you open and close the menu, the fish's mouth would open and close. Sadly, we could not afford the die cut and the scoring. I'm sorry. But we have hand cut some of them. We can get the fish to do that. But it's just wonderful, wonderful stuff in here. I guess we should be showing some of these. The crab with the bowler hat smoking a cigar. I mean, just fabulous stuff. But we've had these reprinted on cardstock, and they're going to be in the souvenir stand at Pixie Fest too. And then this one's just a mock-up, and you can tell I folded it, so it's not in pristine shape. But we reprinted the placemats.
The placemats, right?
And the placemats. This is the guy on the whale that's on this postcard here. He's the only Pixie that we know of that has a name.
Oh.
And his
He's
name,
Sailor?
Yeah, his name comes from the menu, and there's a children's poem here, and it starts out, "Don't be a bilgewater, be a salty Sam. Take Captain Barnacle's advice." Captain Barnacle.
Captain Barnacle.
Captain Barnacle. And this was written by Phyllis G. Hazen in 1966.
I was one.
And, as a little kid, you'd sit there and maybe your parent would read it to you or you read it yourself, what makes the tides so high sometimes and then again so low. 'Tis pulling of the moon, my child, that makes the tides below. Okay, and it goes on from there. Now when the tide is going out, be warned, my son and daughter, that the moon is stronger than you are, so don't go near the water.
Good advice even for today.
The rest of this is every way you can get in trouble on the beach.
Oh my gosh, don't show this to Jim Coos. He'll have it.
Jim Coos has, the second he heard we printed these, he's got a stack. He showed up at my office, I wrote some right now, But, and never stand upon a log to better see the view, because it just takes one big wave to roll that log on you.
So these are things that
it
were
was beach
issues
safety
back
then.
then.
And it ends up with the number for the fire department, the ambulance, the city police, and state police, just in case you might need it.
Just in case there is a boo-boo.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
but it's cool. It's beach safety, and it's told as a children's story.
So this is the third year
Yeah.
of Pixie Fest, and this year you're in a new location.
We're in a new location. We were hosted by the casino in their empty lot behind the casino for 2 years. If you've been up there lately, you'll notice there's a brand new big parking garage. And there's a reason for the brand new big parking garage, and that is that they're going to need it because something big and brand new is going to go into the empty lot. And they're like, guys, love having you here, but you might want to start thinking about another location because this field will not be a field sometime in the near future. So there's a secret project going on up there. The casino's still a partner, they're still a sponsor, they're still helping with just a ton of things with Pixie Fest, but they're like, it's time. So we looked around town and talked to the principal of, well, I guess it's kind of the president of the high school.
That's a good way to put it.
Over at Taft High, and it was like, why don't you come here and set up in our practice field? So we're going to be adjacent to Taft High School this year. And tons and tons and tons of changes versus
So a lot more parking.
There's going to be a lot more parking. But it's also going to be a lot less to get in. Okay.
There, that's a bonus right there.
There's a guy in the Kiwanis Club who shall remain nameless, who moved here about 4 years ago from Atlanta, that just doesn't understand. I understand he works at like the Visitors and Convention Bureau or something.
I think I know that guy.
Yeah, and it was like, $25 to get into something's nothing. I mean, I've seen a million in events. That's cheap to get in, and that might be true in Atlanta, but not on the Oregon coast.
Oh, dear.
Yeah, so the whole pricing structure at Pixie Fest has been changed.
A lot more family friendly, right?
Much more family friendly. So $10 to get in for adults, $6 for kids.
Perfect.
If you're 11 or under, free. So much easier for a family to come in. The games have been reduced from $1 to 50 cents. And the rides are 2 tokens each, so $1 to ride a ride. And I think it's closer to what you would see like at the state fair kind of pricing, where you come in, enjoy anything you want to enjoy for free, and if you want to
do some extra stuff,
then
it
that
costs
would
you a
cost
little bit
of money. And when you're coming in, that $10 and $6 that goes to the Kiwanis Club of Lincoln City.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's a fundraiser for you guys.
It's a fundraiser, and the money collected goes to make childhood better for a lot of kids in Lincoln City. It goes to Backpack for Kids. It goes to Family Promise. It goes to the Boy Scouts. It goes to the Cub Scouts. It goes to scholarships for Taft High students, and just a ton of other things. Sports sponsorships, club sponsorships at the high school, just a lot of things. So, when you pry open your wallet and the moths fly out and you peel that $6 out to get your kid in, that $6 is going to go to another kid.
It's going to go a long way.
It's going to go a long way. So it's a lot of fun for the kids going to the event. It's a lot of good things for the kids in the area.
So let's talk a little bit about the Kiwanis Club. Tell us a little bit about what your organization is and the things that you do.
Kiwanis is a service organization. Rotary would be another one. The mission of Kiwanis is to make the world better, one child and one community at a time. So everything Kiwanis does is meant to provide money and services for children's oriented organizations here in town, for nonprofits that are going to make Lincoln City a better place for kids to be.
That's great. So definitely we're supporting, and this is one of your big fundraisers of the year?
Yes.
Great. And so we know the location, we know the price. Tell us a little bit about some of the events and some things that, that would be good too.
It's sometime in the future.
Sometime in the future, yes.
It's going to be, this year, it will be on June 29 and 30.
Okay.
Okay, Saturday, Sunday, June 29th and 30th. Gates will open at noon, and the fun will wrap up at 5 o'clock.
Awesome. And what are some things that folks can see when they come into Pixie Fest?
Keep in mind that the idea was that Kiwanis was going to have a little kiddie fair.
Okay. Yes,
By the time we got done with it, it's a 2-day theme park. I mean, I remember standing in the middle of it the first year going, what have we done?
What did we do?
Pixie Fest has rides. We have kiddie rides that we rent from a rides company out of Portland, and they bring in, we're going to have a little Ferris wheel this year, and a swinger ride, and a little train ride, and
the
a bouncy
train, my grandkids love.
Oh yeah, the train ride is fun.
They could go on that all day.
So we're gonna have a bunch of fun rides there. We're gonna have games. Now I have to say something about the games and all the theming pieces at Pixie Fest. Excuse me. Lincoln City Graphics here in town, which morphed into Scout at the Outlet Mall.
Oh, okay.
Okay, Jerome and Giddo Black. Jerome built and reproduced all the Pixie kitchen cutouts that are all over the event. He did that free. We have 6 different games. Break the balloon with the dart and get the basketball in the wicker basket, and throw the ring over the soft drink bottle top stuff, you know.
And what was great about the games was that they were little kid friendly too.
Yeah. Well, everything is little kid friendly. But Jerome and Giddo designed and built all those for Pixie Fest. Wow. They weren't like rented or bought off a shelf or whatever. He literally created all those. So all the plywood cutouts, all that stuff, you know, hats off to the folks down at Scout for providing that.
We really appreciate the great things that Scout has done to provide great entertainment and to give back. The way they give back to their community is really incredible.
And then the folks that own Green Acres, they're the ones that do the rides, the horseback rides on the beach up toward Pacific City. They're coming in, and they're going to set up pony rides this year. So we're gonna have pony rides, which is just going to be that's going to be really wonderful thing. So pony rides, we have the kiddie rides, and last 2 years we've had entertainment. We've had local bands set up and play, and just as a filler, we had Boone Marker, who works at the community center. Boone dressed up as Captain Barnacle, and we threw together this thing called the Captain Barnacle Variety Show, where he made up some goofy games for kids to do and gave out prizes. And it was stuff like he would give them pickled herring to eat, which used to be on the appetizer tray at Pixie Kitchen, and the kid that made the worst face won a prize, Well, the funny thing is, these bands that we paid a fair amount of money for, they're playing and there's nobody there. Captain Barnacle comes in, and all of a sudden there's a big crowd,
Mm-hmm.
and he wraps up, and the next band starts, and everybody leaves again, and we're like, oh. It finally dawned on us that we have a kids festival, and we're putting out adult entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, So Captain Barnacle's coming back
Awesome.
with more and better, and we hired professional kid entertainers to come in and do the show. So on Saturday we have Louis Fox, and he's best known for being one of the finalists on America's Got Talent.
Okay.
And he does this amazingly wacky, kids and adults get it kind of magic show.
Oh, I love magic shows.
Yeah. So Louis is going to be the big headliner entertainment on Saturday. And then we have another guy, Presto the Magician, who has played everywhere for a long time, who's going to do a full-blown magic show on stage on Sunday.
Oh my gosh, how exciting.
Yeah, it's going to be great.
Now, going back to the menu and things, you've got a special event coming up on the 22nd.
Yeah.
And that is
it's a kickoff event. And keep in mind, Donna in the Culinary Center is the one who unearthed a lot of this stuff about Pixie Kitchen and guided us to where we can do things like this. She helped put together the Pixie cookbook. She was trying to come up with what cooking demos she was going to do for the month of June. I said, Donna, what about Pixie Kitchen? She's like, oh my God, that'd be great. So we have the Pixie Kitchen secret recipe cooking demo.
Oh my gosh, this sounds so exciting. I was reading about this on our website.
So when you went into Pixie Kitchen, there was a funhouse mirror there that would stretch you out thin. It would say, you look hungry. And then after you were done and you were walking out, there was one that squished you.
Up
Yeah, you had enough, you know? Well, Jerome reproduced those.
Awesome.
He made new ones. We have them in storage back here. And those will greet you and have you'll see at the exit at the cooking demo. Donna is going to make the legendary Pixie Kitchen cod balls. And I'm guessing you remember those.
Yes.
Apparently,
and they were unique.
Yeah.
Uniquely made with a secret ingredient. Should we tell what the secret ingredient is?
Well, given it's in the cookbook now, sure. We're not good at keeping secrets here. Yeah.
It was crackers, but a special type of crackers.
Wheat thins.
Yeah.
You ate them with wheat thins, And I guess they were like the chicken McNuggets of their day. It was like the kids loved them, and
Yeah, and it was a great way to get your kids to eat fish.
Yeah. So anyway, if you haven't had Pixie Kitchen cod balls for the last 30 or 40 years, this is your chance.
It's your chance.
Yeah.
All right.
Plus, we're going to have Pixie Kitchen birthday cake.
Yay.
And official Pixie Kitchen coleslaw. All exact replicas of what they used to do back in.
And this is all on the 22nd?
It's all on the 22nd. If you go to explorelincolncity.com and look in the Culinary Center, you can sign up there, or you can go to pixiefest.com and there's a link to the tickets there. And it's the same price as one of our cooking demos. It's $40, but this one's going to be really special because we'll have the funhouse mirrors. We're going to put the cutouts up. There might be an appearance by Captain Barnacle. You never know.
You never know.
And we also have a former employee of Pixie Kitchen for a Q&A. And we tried to get them there, but they couldn't get away, so we videotaped them. If you get onto Eleanor's Undertow, the owners, Tom and Vicky worked at Pixie Kitchen and then later would work summers at Pixie Land. Her husband, Tom, was in the melodrama show at Pixie Land, and that's where they met and fell in love. So we have two official Pixies in town. And, they can't make it in person, but they're going to show up on the TV screen and tell stories. So that'll be fun too.
All right, Ed, anything else that you want to add about the upcoming Pixie Fest?
No, just again, pixiefest.com. That's where everything is explained. And it's June 29 and 30. It starts at noon, goes till 5 p.m. It's cheap to get in this year. Only $10 for an adult and $9 for children, and anybody under the age 11 is in for free. We have collectors coming in. There's going to be a lot of old merchandise and stuff from Pixie Kitchen on display. One of the original whaleboat cars that you used to take and motor around in the lagoon in, we have one of those on the way.
Those are my favorite.
Yeah, we have one of
Anything
the
that had to do with water.
yeah one of the original tables will be there. The tables that have the glass top and the sand in it, little mermaids and whatnot. So there's a lot of fun stuff that's going to be at Pixie Fest this year.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us for Coffee with Kiera, sponsored by Human Being in Newport on 6th Street and Highway 101, and in Lincoln City at the north end of Lincoln City. Thank you so much for joining us, and Ed, and we'll see you at Pixie Fest.